traveling today, and the reason I say traveling, not driving, is because a driver is a commercial status, and once we actually assume a status, then assumptions make an ass of you and me, because we step into the public and we lose our standing in the private, where we have the greatest capacity to be ourselves. In the public, we have to conform in order to fit the social mainstream narratives that would make us sit instead of stand. And so all of that is where we land, where I invite you to come join me and others tomorrow who would like to know how to take Just Say No to the next level lawfully, not legally. Understanding the difference, and I feel like a broken record when I say these things, and yet repetition is the king of learning, and if we want to be as king, we must learn that asking the questions is how we actually stay in our power, and also not let the system devour us who would feel the need to answer the question and get it right, because that's what we've been told, right? It's all in our languaging. We just culturally have been brainwashed by the cult you rally with BS belief systems that would have us presume to be other than we are in order to stop growing, when this says keep growing beside me in capitalized letters, which even that has an ulterior meaning and motive that we're not commonly taught, because the common lie has not prepared you and I to actually know how to stand as we are, which is what we're going to unravel tomorrow in a Zoom of an uncommon variety. We're going to actually talk about what notices are. We're going to talk about the difference between liability, accountability, and responsibility, and how they're connected and yet not the same, just as legal and lawful are not either. We're going to talk about the umbrella of corporate protection that does not cover the man or woman acting on behalf of the corpse, that would have them enforce corrupted measures for a de facto government, and then the corporations who have modified their revisions or their rules in order to make revisions to fit the mandates of a de facto government that is imposing de facto law, because corporations can only impose bylaws when you and I, as woman and man or woman, we live by law, God's law, Creator's law, source law, whatever you want to put on the Allah, all of what law stands under, that which created us all and we all return to and only feel separate from when we put the creator of all into a box and then say that the creator of all is not all. It's only the things that are in the box that I believe
in 1 kilometer, turn left onto County Road 34.
333 was when I said that in this message for thee, who is invited to join me and others who wish to know how we can lawfully stand, how we can actually claim our rights in notices, lawful ones, not legal ones, not needing to have affidavits because a testimony is the equivalent lawfully, which the ones wearing suits that would have them be protected from the rain under the corporate umbrella that
turn left onto County Road 34.
Insurance, or lacks liability because they're insured under the corporate umbrella, until we say, no, that's not how we're going to do this any longer. We're going to say that just because we have all paid a lot of money to be able to gain status, to say that we are more than
in 1.1 kilometers, turn left onto Perth Oxford Road.
Not actually true. We're going to say, no, we're going to go back to being you and I, recognizing that you is actually plural, even though we don't think of it that way. Legally,
at the next stop sign, turn left.
they use legalese in order to deceive us to believe that we are less than we are, when as as originals, we are enough. This thing is going to keep yapping, so I'm going to say, don't be napping tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we gather to really claim our right to do more than
At the
just
stop
say
sign, turn left onto Perth Oxford Road.
Stop that nonsense, and we claim our rights in lawful notices, and then we actually stand on the claims that we have made in those notices that we can use as evidence in claims that we can make against
In 7.9 kilometers, turn right onto County Road 112.
the men and women that are causing us harm, loss, and fraud by coercion, which is another word for bullying. And instead of consenting to the con for our consciousness when it is sent, we say, I resent that and no longer wish to hold that resentment inside, and so instead I am not going to hide my distaste any longer. Performance, high performance? Yes, 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 we must perform at a higher level than we ever have before. No BT, no BS. What do I say about that instead? I love how the universe shows up to support us. I would love for you to be supported so that should mandates be imposed this fall, as I suspect they will be, for that is how the growing tyranny is imposed upon the people, pan being all, demic being the people, coming from demos, which is the Greek word for the people, so all people under the pandemic, which I say is a pandemic because it was written into the codes, the rules, the mandates, and edicts that are imposed by the corporation, the corpse of the dead and lifeless entity, corporate entity, that then imposes its rule onto us who are living and actually are the ones that uphold those edicts because we work for the corpse that orates the rules. No, we can't afford to anymore, or we're going to have nothing worthy of leaving for the next generation for them to inherit. So it is time for us to instead stand on the merit of what it means to be a man or a woman and actually leave something worthy by holding one another to account and be liable and responsible for our choice to either participate in fraud or to give a nod and say no more. Pop and stop. It's right on the side of the road. You can do it. You can keep going with it. You can stop and say, okay, this is going to require a whole redirection of my resources, and that's okay because I would prefer it this way than wait until the end of my life and then find out that I got to pay twice in this life and the next, because reincarnation is simply coming back into being incarnate and having to do it again, saying, darn it, I didn't do what I could have done in this life, so now I have to live in a reality where I didn't do what I came here to do now. That would suck. Nightmare would be what I would believe that to be. I don't wish to see it for myself, and so I'm simply going to do my best to do better in this life and help other men and women know how to do it too, with the common law, which is uncapitalized and unhyphenated, and also a matter of jurisdiction and capacity, in our private capacity, not the public one that we are drawn into, where then we need to cover our privates and pretend that it is shameful in order to expose ourselves to the truth. Well, when truth and lies went for a swim in the fountain and lies stole truth's clothing, and then truth had to make it through town naked, and everyone was offended and outraged at her for actually bearing all, we say, y'all better change your view, because it is true that the truth is stranger than fiction. Tomorrow at 7, I went on and on and on, and now I say, come on, join me tomorrow, Laura J. Namaste, Namago for today.